And we are live. Thank you, Doris, for joining me today for Manifesting Monday.
Thank you, Teresa. It's such a pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to spotlight you today. So, everyone, we are here with Doris Muna of Dorothea Essences. And Doris and I were on live earlier with each other talking, and you guys want to stay to the end. If you can't stay, come back to the recording because you're going to want to find out what Doris has to offer. She has a wonderful background experience. She's helped many people. And we were just talking about abilities and children and grandparents and having a great time. So, how I know Doris. So how I know Doris is we met at Lisa Artsberger's Wine, Women, and Wealth event.
Yes, we did.
That's right. I was thinking E-Women for some reason, but so I've spotlighted Lisa Artsberger on here before, and she is of Five Rings Financial. And so Doris and we were in this meeting, and I thought, okay, I love what Doris does, and she's all about energy healing and vibration and purpose and divine messages and helping people. And then so we reached out and said, hey, let's talk. Let's see what each other does and see how we can help each other. So I met Doris, it's probably a few months ago by now, and I'm here to share what Doris has to offer. And I see that I've got a comment here from a Facebook user, but I don't have permission to see who you are. So if you give StreamYard your permission, I can see who you are, or you can just type in the chat your name. So thanks for joining us. Doris, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Teresa, for having me on your show. This is really lovely. I know I watch your show regularly, and I love all the guests you bring. So I'm honored in a way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Doris Muna, and I come from a long history and long experience with energy healing, and particularly flower essences, which are my passion, I feel, and my calling. I started as a young person dabbling with energy healing, but not really knowing what I was doing. And eventually, as I grew older in my 20s and 30s, I had the pleasure and opportunity to study with different masters from different parts of the world. And that took me slowly more into energy healing. And that, for me, is a fascinating field because everything is energy. We are made from energy. Everything around us is an energy. So understanding this made me a better healer, made me more able to help others. And I feel everybody's purpose on this earth is to help other people and move on, and being the light that guides people through dark tunnels, through days that are negative. So it's usually like a brownie holding the little light for everyone.
I love it. It's just incredible that you're here and you do help the way you help. And I do want to say hi to Joanne. So it's Joanne that's joined us. Joanne, I'm assuming O'Brien, and she does Akashic record reading, and she's fantastic. You guys could connect.
Yeah.
Doris, I really love your story of why you got started in healing yourself. And we also talked a bit about your grandmothers and their abilities as well, and your own abilities. It is Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining. So why don't you tell everyone, why you got into the work that you're in now?
Yeah. Well, I got in because of my own healing needs. In my younger days, in my late 20s, early 30s, I had something like chronic fatigue and muscular pain, and nobody seemed to know why. I saw many doctors, and I didn't understand what was causing it. And finally, I met a wonderful man, Dr. John C., who does, who's the founder of Touch for Health, and he did muscle testing on me and found out that I was intolerant to a lot of things I was eating on a daily basis. And it was crazy for me to think about that food could make me feel like that, but it did. And it took 8 years, 8 months for me to clear those foods from my diet, and my energy came back amazing. I had bounds of energy. It wasn't the children, it wasn't the overload of what I had to do, but my own eating habits.
So I know that we talked about this before, and I mean, your eating habits, and you had bounds of energy, and you were thinking, you didn't know what it was. Doctors didn't know what it was. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. Turned out your diet was, your body didn't tolerate your diet. Muscle testing is amazing. And so now you're doing flower essences, but I'd love for you to share a bit of how that came about, because you've worked with many people and all different kinds of cases. So I want you to share a bit of that experience as well, so people see why you do this.
Yeah, I was so impressed with it's a long journey, but I'll be brief. I was so impressed with the muscle testing that I studied the system and I started using it on clients in my practice to great results. But somehow I started being attracted to energy work, and I met various teachers who taught me how to do pranic energy healing. And that fascinated me because you could use the energy of your hands and without having to see people face to face. Who would have known that COVID would happen and I was able to use my skills anyway? Um, and so that led me to another discovery of how the chakras, because I had studied meridians in it initially, and then it took me into the chakras. So learning both systems of energy, which are very similar, but they have different locations and different ways of clearing them. I started thinking, what do clients do between sessions? Like, I can't see them every day. And sometimes there are cases where people need to see you more often. Uh, and someone had mentioned flower essences to me. And I thought, what are they? Are they essential oils? They said, no, they are the vibration of flowers. And I went to a talk about flower essences, and I was dumbfounded. It seemed like the guy, everything he was saying, I knew. I knew somewhere in my head, but I couldn't remember. It felt like I was pulled from another life into this life of knowing. And that was history. I took to it like I always knew it. And I attended classes with different flower essence makers. I wanted to learn different techniques and how they did it. And then, for some reason, my internal knowledge, my internal guide came through, and I started doing things in my own way.
Right. And now you help people.
Yeah.
And I do want to, so we have another comment here, another great inspirational lady, great chat. And I'm thinking that it's Ken, because I don't see the name as well. So with StreamYard, Doris, if someone gives StreamYard permission, they can see the name, but sometimes we're on different platforms. So we're on 3 different Facebook platforms and YouTube as well. So if there's different areas, they'll just come in as Facebook users. So thanks you guys for joining. So let's talk about what you do with clients now. I mean, you could even work, right now there's COVID happening, and it has happened. And I know people who have been able to make the change because they do things from distance. So you've been able to do that.
Yes. This is part of the what happened to me. Started doing remote healing or distant healing, and it was so effective. I changed my whole business. I started doing it from wherever I am, even if I travel. So nothing disrupts me being away from my clients. And the other thing is, when COVID happened and people were losing their offices, I didn't worry about it because that's what I did anyway. And it is I had a hard time with being isolated with COVID, but not from the healing aspect. So I was able to reach my clients, and I found that I can reach them at a time where a lot of people needed a lot. Um, it's hard. There's a rise in addictions, there's a rise in depression, there's a rise in abuse. So these are issues we need to address as a community, as a people, as a nation, as the world, and help each other through it. And I feel my flower essences will help a lot of people at some level. Of course, the healing is more intense and deep, but if people like the flower essences, they resonate with them, I felt, yeah, this is the way to go.
Essence and vibrations. I want you to explain, what it is here in a moment, but I do want to point out that you don't have to be in front of someone to make a difference. I mean, and Marconi, a man who developed the radio, was put in an insane asylum when he was told we could connect the sound from one place to another through the air. I mean, just like the cell phone. I mean, this is my cell. I can call you from anywhere in the world. And there's no wires, it's energy. And so we are also energy, we can do that. So why don't you explain for some people who don't know what flower essences are, what they are?
Yeah, the flower essences are the vibration of a flower captured in water and bottled. And it is different than essential oils, where it's more oil based and it has a strong and distinct smell. Flower essences don't have a smell, and they are just the energy of a flower captured in water. Now, as I was explaining to Teresa earlier, is I have the gift of feeling and seeing energy. So I can, let's say I'm in a field of poppies, and I can feel the vibration of a certain group of flowers, or even trees, or river, or stones, and if the energy is strong and if the energy is transmitting healing energy, I have the ability to capture it and put it in water and preserve it in little bottles. And this is what I do. And everybody can do this technique. It's not a difficult thing to teach. And actually, I teach people how to do flower essences. I have a workshop every year where we go on a hike into the woods or in the fields, and I teach people to make their own flower essences, because I believe everybody has a different vibration, and if you're called to make an essence, it may be just for you, or it may be for others. When I started, the essences I made the message was they were for me. I needed that healing. And it took years for me to realize that now I'm ready. And I got a message, you go ahead and sell them. And that's how I started this business, the side business of the flower essences, other than the healing. But they work together. People who are sensitive to energy understand it, appreciate flower essences. And I'm not the only one who does them. So many people who do flower essences. But I feel those who resonate with me want my flower essences. I'm meant to help them.
Absolutely. I mean, there's people on here who are connecting with you, and like we were saying before we went on live, there's other people who just won't at all. And that's okay. They're not meant, they're not in your vibration. They're not meant, but those who are meant to connect with you, that's where the difference, I believe. Same with my coaching clients, same with friendships. Like, those are the people that you're meant to learn, grow, and heal with. And help. We really are here for community. So I know that earlier you were telling me about what you do offer and lengths of time that people work with you. And you have a whole, you don't just work with one type of person or issue. I mean, you have a whole blanket of things. So do you want to touch a little bit about some
Yeah,
of the—
I can. I mean, I do a whole array of healing modalities and conditions. I deal with a lot of depression, hormonal imbalance. I deal with a lot of people with cancer who have cancer, whether before they do surgery or after chemo. I deal a lot of with people who have actual physical pains, and it is unbelievable when somebody has a physical pain. Usually, it's emotionally or mentally based. And I have a funny story to say. One of my very good clients sent her husband, and I was on the phone with him, and he said, "I have a knee pain." And as I was working with him, I got this uh, instruction to ask him uh, about his sister and an accident he had with his sister. And he told me the story, and then he looked at me and he said, "What does that have to do with my knee pain?" I said, "I just got that message." Anyway, the following day he sends me an email. He says, "I don't know how you did it, but my knee pain is gone." And he never had the surgery for his knee replacement. So things like that I get every day is an aha moment for me. Every day I'm blessed, because without my clients I wouldn't have grown. And spiritually, energetically, every client puts me on a different pedestal and puts me on a different um, learning curve, which I would never have reached where I am today without my clients.
I agree. I mean, we can't grow without teaching, and we learn so much when we teach, whether it's coaching or healing, whatever it is. But you also teach. I mean, you do workshops, and then you're teaching clients how to heal themselves and get better.
Yeah, because I'm not here forever. Like, we're all here in transit to something else, and what the day will come with, on if I were on my deathbed, and what have I done in my life? What did I give back? Where did I empower people? And I feel teaching is empowering those who want to learn how to heal themselves and others. I specifically mention it to moms, young moms who have small children. They gotta learn how to do energy healing. It is something like with children always getting sick and falling and scraping their knees, and moms need to do this. Even as we grow older, hormonal change, stomach problems, anxiety, depression, uh, there's a whole array of conditions that one can help themselves. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the doctor. On the contrary, I feel what I do and Western medicine work hand in hand, and it's not one or the other, but I feel it's a combination of both that will help people, like raising the immune system. Now, this with COVID, the condition of the lungs, the condition of your immune system. What are you waiting for? Get healthy.
Yeah, what are you waiting for? I mean, we incorporate energy healing in my house as well. The kids are very aware, and I'm doing things all of the time. And we talked about, the man is talking about the husband and his knee and the message. Like, sometimes it's just, you just don't know. You just know you need to say it, and it just has to be. And it's interesting because some people, they won't get it, or they'll make a move that they think, it has nothing to do with the message, but that's okay. As healers, and we're here to still transmit the message and help.
It's your calling. I think if you feel you're here to help humanity, and this is your mission in life, then do it the best way you can. And if people listen or people don't listen, it's their choice. But your job is to pass the message on.
That is, and that's being in integrity. And I'm all about being in integrity and being genuine. I mean, when you get to the end, what did you leave? It's not about the things. Things are great, but it's not about them.
Yeah.
It's about passing the information on and helping. Doris, why don't you tell everybody, you showed me the box earlier,
Oh,
and I know you have a special going on not until next month, but you do have a package that you're offering. And
yes, I have it, and it was on for the December Christmas and holiday season. And then when we talked to have the interview, I thought I'll keep it the special until the end of the month for your listeners. But it's the box like this, okay? And these are the 4 flower essences that I created, which are the combo essences, and I call them the home healing therapy because they are a therapy you can do at home. And each flower essence, maybe I'll show you this is can you see it?
Mhm.
Yeah. So there are 4 essences, and each essence does something else. Like serenity works on your energy field, on inside what's going on with you, with your thoughts, with your um, healing process. And this little bottle takes usually a month to complete. And then when you've done that, you move on to the next one, which is called harmony. And harmony is to do with relationships. It could be relationship with yourself, with your spouse, with your children, parents, exes, or futures, whatever, or colleagues. And it clears any negativity. It's after the forgiveness, there's a lingering part, and this is called reconciliation. If you cannot reconcile with somebody, you don't have to be friends with them, but if you cannot move forward, there's that list. Anyway, this essence helps a lot. And then, of course, after you've worked on yourself and your relationships, then you become a magnet for prosperity, and this helps. Prosperity is the 3rd essence in the series, and it brings whatever abundance means to you. It could be better job, better relationship. Everybody has their wish list. So this helps you open up your possibility. And last but not least, I have something called grace, and it is the spiritual. This helps you connect to the divine, to connect to your purpose, your reason for being on this earth. And so these 4 bottles, it's what I call the home healing therapy. And I realize that people sometimes don't want to see a therapist, or they just want to do something at home on their own. This is an ideal situation where you start with one and then move to the other. And I also have audios, like little meditation, short meditation that go with each essence, so people can kind of connect on a deeper level with them.
I love that. I love that. I was just thinking to myself, like, how many people can benefit? Do you ship internationally? Where do you ship? I didn't ask you this before.
Yeah, only the USA at the time being. I have some of my products in Austria and in Spain, but they're for the local market. I'm not shipping because each flower essence bottle has 20% alcohol, either brandy, and usually to preserve the vibrations of the flower essences. And we cannot ship that internationally. If somebody's allergic or has a sensitivity to alcohol, they shouldn't ingest it, but they can put it on their clothing, on their pillow, in their. If you put it in coffee or tea, the alcohol usually evaporates. But the amount of alcohol is like ripe fruit, even less than a ripe pear. Or
Well, you talked about even kiddos, putting it on their nighties or their pillow, even sleeping, with the vibration, putting the bottle by your bed so you can get the vibration.
so when you sleep, it's still resonating with your energy field.
So let me read this comment from Ken. Thanks for joining, Ken. And then we're going to wrap it up. But it says, when it comes to spirituality, I have come to believe we are spiritual beings on a human journey, absolutely, rather than human beings on a spiritual journey. As a healer, I believe you are someone who is here for when people are ready. This is why I love sharing what Teresa does. It has a positive rippling effect. Thank you, Ken. Yes, I agree 100%. We are here, spiritual beings in a human body, and we are here to connect and create our ripple, and to work with people when they're ready, and if they connect with us. So, Doris, why don't you? I want to make sure that we covered everything before we wrap it up, and then we can point people to your website.
Thank you. Unless you have any questions, I just want to thank you for this opportunity and for helping me move my message forward to those who might need it and who will appreciate working with me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for joining me today. I only, so as you know, I only go back, I only spotlight people who I know are really in integrity doing what they believe is going to help. And there are some people that I've done energy work, but even people down to just having a small business that is here to create success for other business owners, or a happy atmosphere, good product, believing in what they're doing. And so I thank you for coming on with me. And so everyone, so you can go and visit, you can find out everything that Doris does you can see her website here, dorotheahealing.com, and she has different ways of healing and packages, and she teaches. I mean, there's so much to go over right now. So go check out her website. And if you're being called to do this now, then, jump on board, as she has a lot to offer.
Thank you, Teresa.
My pleasure. Okay, you guys, thanks for joining, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.